playing catch-up. The offensive brilliance of Joe Sakic first. And then Peter Forsberg second helped put the Avs in front. But it was the play of Patrick Roy that kept them there. Let's go, saved by Roy.
It is the 7th game. They do not want to travel to Minnesota. They are led by their captain again. It's hard to believe that Joe Sakic scored only 1 goal in his last 10 games. He's getting time and space, and that wicked snapshot is at its best right now.
As for Minnesota, Sakic will be shooting on a different goaltender. Finally, Manny Fernandez gets his start.
We thought that that might happen in Game 2, then maybe in Game 4, but Manny Fernandez stopped 17 of 18 shots in relief of Dwayne Rollison in Minneapolis in Game 4. I thought he was stellar. This may change the thought process of the Colorado Avalanche shooters, and as we well know by now, the first goal of the game has been the winner, and obviously Colorado's had the upper hand the last 3.
Goaltending hasn't been Minnesota's biggest problem, though. They have not scored an even strength goal, the Wild haven't, since 4 minutes left in game number 1. They'll look to their most experienced offensive player this afternoon. That's Cliff Ronning. Not to hit the post, but to put it behind Patrick Roy. Coming up next.
We're ready to play some afternoon Stanley Cup playoff pucks. Bill McCreary and Don Van Massenhoven are the referees. The linesmen Tim Nowak and Dan Shackey. And we are underway from another capacity crowd at the Pepsi Center here in Denver. The Avalanche looking to wrap this series up this afternoon in the home whites. And the Wild looking to prolong the series in the visiting green. Game 6, if necessary, would be back in St. Paul on Monday night.
Boy, what a hit by Rob Blake to start it off. That's something we haven't seen a whole lot of, and that's aggressive kind of pinches into the neutral zone to make a big hit. But he was brilliant in Game 4, playing 27 minutes, and Rob Blake had 5 shots on goal. Look for the D of Colorado, Steve, to be active again, trying to score that first goal and complementing the great offense.
Amazing. No one else on the Avs had more than 2 shots in the game, and Blake had the 5 that you mentioned. Big line on for Colorado now. They've scored a goal in 47 of the last 48 games. And the one time they didn't score was a tie. In January, a 1-1 tie against Dallas. And they're on the ice. Forsberg, Hayduk, and Tanguay. Tanguay's got the puck. Back for foot. Thought about it. Now lets it go through traffic. And it slowed up and just went by Manny Fernandez. 3-on-2 Minnesota as they hit the Colorado line. Oh. Here's Brunetti, couldn't tee it up, or his stick broke, and he dumped it into the corner. It didn't even look like he put any pressure on the stick.
Oh, that's unbelievable. That was right in the wheelhouse. A left-hand shot. Brunette playing the right side, jumping into the middle, and what an unfortunate break that was, literally.
Shot saved by Patrick Roy and Jim Dowd, and Roy's in the hockey game, and Minnesota starts out well. Here's Battaglia now for Colorado. Throws his shoulder in a big way into Jason Marshall as players come together in front of that Minnesota bench. Willie Mitchell is back on it. Shoots it up the far side. Dangerous change by really both clubs where the puck was in front of the bench area. And it's battled towards center ice. Joltok on it now for Minnesota. He'll calm things down. Joltok put it in the skates of Park. Here's a chance. Gabourik's in. Now he'll peel away from Morris. Centered. Picked off by Chance of Colorado, who is in perfect position. Here's Keane. Drop pass for Aubin. The save Fernandez, and he got the rebound as well. Penalty coming up. Interference will be the call, says Bill McCreary. And Colorado will go to the power play. 2:32 into the game.
Excellent rush by a real character line with Keane and Aubin and Chance. Chance's drop pass.
Minnesota number 55, 2 minutes for interference.
Right on the tape to Aubin. And there's going to be the first power play of the game. There's the drop pass save, rebound. Chance can't corral that puck. And you've got both Keane and Aubin driving to the net. Here's the Brunette play. Oh, boy. And the one-piece stick just snapped right above the hosel.
Schultz gets the interference call at 2:32. First minor, first power play of the game. And it goes to Colorado. The Avs are 3 for 16 in the series. Went 1 for 3 in the last game. Up on the far side, just beyond Sakic. And Skula was in pinching, and the puck comes all the way down to the Colorado end. And now the Avs will look to set it up with Rob Blake. Blake and Skula on the points. Sakic out there, along with Forsberg and Hayduk. And let's see, so much for the power play in center ice. I think it was Hayduk who's going to get called for interference.
13, Colorado. 2 minutes interference.
He means 23 and not 13. Interference 23. Is the call, and it'll be 4-on-4.
Yeah, that's one of these plays that this has just happened for a long time in the game of hockey. And when a player goes down like that, it was sort of a delayed call. And all Hayduk looked like he was trying to do was straddle the line. And when your player's going to carry the puck over the blue line, it's your job to make sure you stay on side, you straddle the line, and quite often the defensive player is going to be right in that same position.
Interference is the call, 3:06. And we'll go 4-on-4 for the next minute 13, and then Mini will get a mini power play. Here's Reinprecht roaring in, stopped by Fernandez. Couldn't lift it off the ice. Lubomir Sekerash off for Willie Mitchell. Mitchell finds Gaborik, who scored the one home playoff goal for the Wild in their 2 games, 3 and 4 in the series. That shot by Sekerash, blocked by Foot. He'll shake it off. Mitchell scores! Willie Mitchell scores an even strength goal with no traffic in front of Patrick Roy, and the Wild get the all-important first goal.
Now, I talked about Willie Mitchell and how long his stick is. It's the maximum length, and that's 63 inches, and he gets plenty of mustard on this shot. It hits the inside of the stick, the shaft of goaltender Patrick Roy, right here. The blade, then off the arm. Great look at it, fellas. Great camera angle to see it goes off the blade of the stick, off the top of the blocker, and then beyond Patrick Roy. It's a hard shot, and it's one that Patrick would definitely want back. In all likelihood, it skipped as it went along the way.
You got a great look at the quick change. Mitchell sitting on the bench just for a second. They dropped the puck. He took Jason Marshall off, and Mitchell is back on the ice. More 4-on-4, but the Wild have the 1-0 lead. Willie Mitchell, one of a handful of Minnesota players, who's really already made a name for himself nationally by virtue of this series.
He's been a horse, a rock on the blue line. His defensive play, his ability to shut guys down and play one-on-one has been terrific.
Headman pass, maybe looking for Blake to break. Icing will be called. Mitchell, the goal scorer on the touch. Back to John and Barry in our ABC studios.
With the Bud Light update, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Philadelphia Flyers, the Leafs get on the board first on a blast from Aki Bird.
Especially coming off that overtime loss, this will really pick the guys up. That went right through Czechmanek. He was certainly out far enough.
1-0 now, the Leafs on top. Series tied at 2 apiece.
All right, John and Barry, thanks very much. Got to figure that game to be double overtime or triple overtime. First, what's the score in the first period mean in that series?
Yeah, not a whole lot, that's for sure. Boy, has Belfort been great in that series.
Drop pass, didn't work out. Gaborik picks it up for Minnesota. It's a power play now for the Wild. For another 27 seconds with Milan Hayduk in the box. Dump to the corner. Brunette will one-touch it behind the net for Gaborik. Off for Zoltak now inside the circle. Zoltak will rip it. It's blocked, knocked down, and chance will clear. Just got it out to center ice. The goal is Mitchell, and congratulations to him on his first Stanley Cup playoff goal from Sekerash and Dupuis at 3:41. That shot just missed the mark. Centering feed as Hayduk is out of the box and looking to break. Gets it ahead to Forsberg now. Forsberg was slashed at. And Minnesota got the puck. Some fancy stick work and passing by the Wild here.
Yeah, they're coming out here. Their backs are against the wall. They're probably loose. I know they had a good team meeting yesterday and a lot of positive reinforcement. They want to bring this series back to Minnesota and give their fans a win.
Turned over inside the Colorado end, and now right back out of the zone. Some sloppy play there momentarily by the Avs, but it's okay when it leads to this. Here's Hayduk with Tanguay with him, and the pass was broken up nicely. Here's Hayduk spinning away from the check. Tanguay in a battle in front with Kuba, and that shot through heavy traffic comes all the way out. Here's Cliff Ronning at center. Nice pass, tape the tape for Park. And had the puck knocked off the stick, but it's kept in at the line. Kicked softly to the net. And Marchment is there for Colorado. The team that has scored first in the first 4 games of this series has won every single game. A good omen for the Wild. Here's Schultz. Turns it over to Hall. Rico Hall let it go. Left pad save Manny Fernandez. Rolled up the near side. Taken away by offhand. Looking for a tip from Heino. And Gabrick is deep in his own net. Deep in his own end, I beg your pardon. And Gabrick will break out. Show you some of the speed. Heino can't catch up. And he let it go. There's a broken stick by Gabrick. Gotta wonder if some of the Colorado trainers got into the stick bag of the Wild. That's 2 broken sticks in prime scoring real estate for the Wild.
Giving it that old saw it in half.
Wow. Backhander in front. Stopped by Juan. We get the whistle. The Minnesota Wild getting off to a good start. Willie Mitchell gets the all-important first goal. The Wild lead 1-0.
A couple of shot blocks there. We'll have to keep our eye on his feet, literally. He blocked 2 in a matter of moments apart, and he was hobbling a little bit, moving around.
Off the draw, Colorado able to get to it. And Skula can't do much with it. Here's Derek Morris. Don't forget about Derek Morris. This is his first career playoff action. Offensive defenseman still looking for his first career playoff goal. Up the near side. It'll be kept in, though. Good play by Battaglia to hold in. Here's Sakic. Gets a bit of a pick. Gets a big pick by Reinprecht. Loose puck in front. And Matt Johnson able to clear. Johnson gets back in the Minnesota lineup for the first time since game number 1. And it's delayed offside at the Minnesota blue line.
Let's get back to Adam here deep inside his own zone here, trying to close the gap there on Sekerash. There's the good shot block. Now a little snapshot there by Zoltak again, right off the other foot as well. And Adam struggling, moving side to side. And there's really, there are so many and have been so many great defensive warriors. And Adam Foote, just year after year, he just gets better and better at that job. And I think offensively he's getting better, and he had a career year offensively for the Avs.
Wilsey is checked by Mitchell. Up the near side. And Minnesota with Gabrick, they're able to push it out to center. But Gabrick already in the first 8 minutes of this game got a lot more ice time in this first period than he has in the first 4 games. Park back behind the net. Gabrick will go to the front. He's checked by the breeze. Loose puck there. And it's swept away at the last second. Good defensive play by Dan Heino deep in his own end. That shot from the angle, gloved by Waugh, and he'll hang on. Willie Mitchell said he caught some heat growing up, taking figure skating lessons, and always wanted to really be a forward, a high-scoring forward like his idol Jeremy Roenick. But when his coach growing up decided, hey, we need somebody to play defense, a guy who can skate backwards, he said the figure skating lessons really worked out for him, and he turned over to defense and has been a standout defenseman in this series for the Wild.
Darn right. What an acquisition this was for Doug Risebrough and the Minnesota Wild. Here's the first goal of the game. It's a long, hard skipper that just eluded Patrick. Patrick was in the right position there. He had everything set. Down low was taken care of. That's what makes me think that it skipped, hit the top of his blade, hit his blocker, and then went in. As we see the faceoffs won. Colorado dominating so far. The other thing about Willie Mitchell is Jacques Lemaire said to him, he can have a good career if he focuses on the D part of it and not the O part of it.
Right.
Your strengths are going to be as a defensive player in the National Hockey League, not as an offensive player in the National Hockey League.
And for all the offense that Colorado gets in their defense, they only have 1 goal by a defenseman in this series, and that's Greg DeVries. So Minnesota with Mitchell matching that. That was thought to be one of the huge advantages for Colorado coming into this series, and that has not panned out. The offense from the defense.
I believe we had a little delay there. I think Bill McCreary lost his whistle, and they had to go back and get another whistle.
I want you to lose your whistle until the 3rd period of the playoff game. Oh, that's just an expression.
That is an old one.
Out at center. Here's Darby Hendrickson, who also gets back in the Minnesota lineup. A couple of interesting Minnesota scratches. Bill McCall and Pierre-Marc Bouchard both scratched from this game. You know, we thought both were 2 of the more impressive offensive players from Minnesota in game number 4. Somewhat surprised to see them both out.
Well, nothing surprises me with Jacques Lemaire. It doesn't surprise the players. They are used to it.
Reinprecht got on it quickly, the centering pass, but it was broken up through Sakic, and the Wild able to come away. Here's Cliff Ronning. He'll flip in. Knocked down at a midair by Marchment. They'll say touch with a high stick.
That's the reason for the whistle. Hey, next Saturday, don't miss conference semifinal action from the Stanley Cup playoffs on ABC, presented by Nextel. There'll be a new champion crowned this season. Next week, 8 teams will be remaining to vie for that crown. The action starts at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Check your local listings for the game in your area and get John Davidson's playoff observations at ESPN.com, the keyword ABC Sports.
Tony Granato's been around long enough to know that you've got to finish off your opponent and give yourself some rest, some valuable rest time, and wait for your next opponent to prepare for. They are not taking this game, and they've not taken the Minnesota Wild lightly. They've respected everything they've done, and I think that's why the Avalanche have had some success here.
Here's Hayduk now, coming out of the corner. He'll go cross ice for Rob Blake. Blake, wrist shot through traffic, never made it on goal. Forsberg will take out a pair of Wild players. And up the far side, here's Jeremy Stevenson from Minnesota. Stevenson on with Pasquale Dupuis. Zoltak, Dupuis, and Cliff Ronning were 3 of Minnesota's top 5 goal scorers during the regular season. Not one of them has accounted for a single goal in the first 4 games of the series. Here's Zoltak, who does have 3 assists. Zoltak's in! Centered in front, and it went right through Gaborik and out to center ice.
One of the things that players were talking about for the Minnesota Wild is they wanted to establish more down-low presence. They didn't feel they were doing that enough. Already in this game, they've set up shop behind the net, trying to get some offense from behind the goal line. There's going to be a delayed penalty here. It's going to be on the Minnesota Wild. And once the Wild touch the puck, then the whistle will go.
Delayed penalty coming up. Power play on the way. You're watching the NHL on ABC Sports Championship Television. Looking at the only Minnesota player who has been plus or even in every game of this series. Jason Marshall off for 2 minutes for his slashing. And Colorado will get the chance to even this game on the power play. Zuzin off the boards and all the way down. Blake and Morris will play the points on this Colorado power play. It's Sakic, Forsberg, and Hayduk to fill out the forward unit. Here's Hayduk at center.
Remember that short-lived power play. Hayduk took an interference call to nullify it.
Sakic bumped by Zuzin, but it's over to Morris. He finds Hayduk now, the 50-goal scorer from the regular season. Forsberg behind the net. Wow, actually passed it from behind the net to set up the play. We've seen Forsberg wrap around either side whenever he's been behind the net throughout this series. Here's Morris. Off for Hayduk now. Drops it down for Forsberg. Sakic in front, battling with Mitchell. There's Mitchell out to help out. Far side. It's taken up, taken away. Blake is now in front of that, a much bigger body than Sakic. Here's Morris, lets it go. Tipped by Walls and over the net. Forsberg dumped by Mitchell and cleared.
Man, I think Mitchell got away with one there. Forsberg dumped from behind, went face first, not quite into the boards, not that dangerously. But I know that's an area that Colorado's been talking about with Wes Wallace, those little cross checks to the lower back. And because of how hard Peter Forsberg plays, he doesn't get the benefit of a lot of calls.
Philippe Kuba and Sekarash on defense, trying to kill this off now. 35 seconds left on the penalty to Marshall. Minnesota, Hendrickson got a whack at it and couldn't clear. Kept in by the ad. Centered in front, but Taglia pushes Fernandez into the net, but not the puck. That shot is tipped by Reinprecht right in front of the net. Loose puck now. Kept in. Here's Tanguay on it. Tanguay check. Able to get it across. For Skula. Down low, Reinprecht. Back for Skula. Quick shot through traffic. Stopped by Fernandez, who now picks up his stick. 4 seconds left on the man advantage. Skula shoots it across for Foot. Shot blocked. Loose puck. Tied up and kicked out to center. And a penalty is coming up. Just as one penalty expires, another will be called. Let's see which way this is going to go.
What pressure for the Avs, and Bates Spectacular.
52 like 2 minutes holding the stick.
Adam's foot gets called for holding the shaft of the stick, but Bates Spectacular was doing a heck of a job in front of the net. And there it is right there. He's got it. He didn't actually have the hand on it, but he obviously put it so that he had it in a bit of a headlock right there. Here's Fernandez here. One of the differences between Rolison and Fernandez, as we see Bates Battaglia again in front of the net, knocking down the stick of the goaltender like we did in Game 4 in Minneapolis when Rolison tried to poke him and then lost his stick, and Joe Sakic scored the key first goal of the game.
Foot for holding the stick.
tick at 12:15. Second power play of the game for Minnesota. The one goal scored by Willie Mitchell came in a 4-on-4 scenario. Here's a power play now. Zoltak has the puck. Among the NHL playoff leaders in power play assists, Sergei Zoltak. Only Daryl Sador of Dallas has more than Zoltak does. Zoltak has 3. Block, shot, comes right back to Zoltak on it now.
Nice pass.
Off for Ronning. Ronning looking for Dupuis, the quick one-timer, and he fanned on it. Here's Zoltak again. Goes back behind the net. Good check there by Blake. Pinning his man Brunette. Zoltak will get to it. Pulls it back. Off for Ronning, thought about it. Finds Zoltak, lets it fly, missed it. Heavy traffic in front. Brunette and Blake were battling.
That's a good battle in front, and Brunette knows that he's going to take a pounding in there when you're dealing with the big 6'4", 230-pound Rob Blake. But he did his job, and Zoltak just missed on the far side.
Philippe Kuba will shoot it in. The leader for the Wild in ice time throughout this series. Gets so much power play time like he does here. And it's put it all the way down the ice, and the Avs will get a change.
Boy, that's a good play by Brian Marchment. He knows he's going to get drilled, and it was Stevenson that hit him, but he had to get that puck over everybody and down the ice.
There's Kuba, who will shoot it around. Chance is on it. Put it behind his own net. Gabrick trying to send a Park in there as well. Loose puck, 6 players all over it, and Morris comes away for Colorado. 15 seconds left on the man advantage. No shots so far on this Minnesota power play. A power play that is 4 for 17 in this series. 2 of those 4 goals came in their Game 1 win right here. Here's Stevenson back in the net. He'll shoot it softly around. Marshall will keep it in deeper now. DeVries comes over to help out. Back to 5 aside. Gabrick is checked hard by DeVries, who lost his helmet. Hendrickson able to keep it momentarily. But Colorado will move it out. Nice pass to Battaglia. Battaglia from the angle. Stopped by Fernandez. And he'll hang on as Battaglia and Marshall come together. We'll step out. The Wild lead 1-0. The best record in the league when scoring first. Playing with a lot of confidence now that they've scored first.
Well, it's their system, too, and I think it's the urgency that they possess with their backs completely against the wall. There is no tomorrow for the Wild, so I like the combination of both. I think it's going to bring out the best in both teams, intensity level-wise. It could be our nastiest game of this series.
I'm sorry, did you say backs to the wall and there is no tomorrow in the same sentence?
I said both of those.
Wow, that's very hard to use both of those in the same sentence.
That's bad, isn't it?
We're going to drop in 110%. I was ready to leave the booth.
You can tell I watched the replacements the other night and listened to Shane Falco's coach.
Sounds like you're listening to Tony Granato. I can't get over how good Granato is already at coach speak. He has mastered the art in less than a full season. Back to the point. Here's Forsberg now on a loose puck, 5-on-5 towards the front of the net. Skula overskated. Hayduk for Forsberg. Forsberg is bodied in the corner. 4.5 to go here in the first. At 1-0, it has to be considered a surprise with Minnesota leading, trying to force a game 6. Wild able to get to it. Out at center, here's Ronning all by himself. Park fresh off the bench. Gets the puck, he's now all by himself, 1-on-4. Takes it behind the net. Finally has some defensemen. Here's Gabrick on it now. Back behind the net, here's Park, who's had a very strong series. It would be even better statistically if he didn't hit 2 posts, and there were 2 goals instead of the posts for him. Avalanche look to come away. Here's Sakic far side, the leader in scoring in the series. Finds Reinfrecht. Battaglia was dumped in front of the net. Loose puck, and it's tipped wide. And Kuba, stick is broken, the defenseman. In front, Reinfrecht couldn't get to it. Minnesota's got a stick issue. What? Shot, Fernandez, save, rebound, still loose. Sekerash gets to it. And the Wild, fortunate they'll be able to get to this puck now and get the clear.
Oh, it's hard to believe, as we're going to have an icing call here, that not one of the Wild players would hand the stick off to Kuba.
All sorts of broken sticks, nothing wrong with John and Barry's studio.
Well, guys, Barry talked about it before. Get some traffic in front of Eddie Belfour, and that's what the Flyers do.
Puck goes out to the point. Watch all the players converge in front of the net. A real shot. It might have hit JR's glove on his stick, but other than that, Eddie never saw it, John.
We'll let you know if they credit that to JR, but it is 1-1 right now.
John and Barry will see you guys in just a little bit coming up on the intermission report.
highlights of that pivotal Game 5 from Philadelphia, and a look back at a big day for the Flyers' Mark Recchi, which didn't end with his overtime goal in game number 4, all coming up at the conclusion of our first period as that puck was tipped into the netting. 3:11 left here in the first.
Well, we've had so many situations here with either the broken shaft of the stick or the blade of the stick. Anyway, it's happened 3 times in this hockey game. And you have to wonder why the weakness, why the bad timing, what's going on defensively. 2 times in the offensive zone, and then that time Kuba needed some help. He needed a player to recognize he didn't have his stick, and it took a while before Marian Gaborik actually didn't hand it to him. Really, he went to him and took it from him.
Here's Morris. Headman pass for Tanguay off his stick. Susan back for the touch. Icing is called.
Let's go back to this situation so far in this game. Early on in the game, Burnett's got it right in the slot. Good scoring chance, snap stick. And then Marian Gaborik. And here's Battaglia and Kuba battling. Broken shaft of the stick there as well. That's really rare. It's a rarity for it to happen in a 20-minute period.
3 times. Yeah, critical times, really.
Absolutely. Not in the neutral zone where there's a little dump in. These are all prominent areas of the ice.
Face-off win by Colorado. Blake's able to get it ahead to Wilsey, but he can't hold on to the pass. And it's back at center. Here's Marchment for Colorado now. 1 touch by Hall into the Minnesota end. Manny Fernandez put it high off the glass there. Good check. Marshall is hit down to the ice, and the crowd roars. Certainly has to help Manny Fernandez's confidence playing with the lead as he tries to shake off some rust. His last start came back on April 3rd. His last win was March 31st. The Dwayne Rollison's series, really, until today, although he played in relief in game number 4.
Well, he was sharp there, so that was the rustiness. He stopped 17 of 18 shots in game 4 and gave the Wild a chance coming back.
Forsberg put it off the back of the net. Centering pass through everybody. Here's DeVries, top of the circle. Let it go. Blocked by Dupuis, who had his stick lifted. DeVries will get a second chance at it. Here's Forsberg. Walls all over him. Pushes him to the boards. DeVries in deep. Kuba working on him. Here's Walls. Good check and a better stick check by Fernandez with a big goaltending lumber. Forsberg away from Marshall now. Off the back of the net. Tried a little self-pass. And it's cleared down the length of the ice.
And is he good with that puck? Oh, icing nullified right there. Patrick going out to play it. Wild went for a line change. Everybody was expecting the whistle to go.
Put it in foot skates, so I also thought he was going to allow him to make the touch. Final 80 seconds of period number 1. Bit of a surprise brewing so far here at the Pepsi Center. Mitchell, checked by Hayduk. Susan will get to it. Trying to get away from the referee first and then away from the Avalanche second. Park up the boards. Bad clearing attempt by Richard Park. Here's Battaglia now. Off for Hayduk. Back to the point and through everyone. Blake couldn't get over it while we're playing.
Just that one little error, 10 feet inside your blue line, by Park and by the Wild, results in a good cycle and some pressure.
Blake had his stick lifted and pocket picked by Stevenson. Avalanche working on it. Here's Sakic now. For Heinold, cycles it down deeper. 25 seconds left in the period. And Sakic got a piece, but not enough, and it comes out to center ice. Oh, here's a chance. Shot! Oh, what a glove save. The rolling puck on Andrew Brunette. And there's a penalty coming up as players get together. 14 seconds left, and Heinold is furious.
Looked like Stevenson and Heinold after the save by Patrick. While I was watching Patrick kind of lift that puck up in the air. And we saw that good chance by Brunette, but after that, Stevenson, Hendrickson, down low, and Danny Heinold took exception to that. Brunette comes out of nowhere right here. It's a 1-on-2. Morris doesn't see that puck is put towards him. It was probably going wide as we hear the call by McCreary. And it's going to be a minor penalty. Good hit there by Blake. This puck here, what a play by Brunette to settle the puck down. And it looked like it was going wide to the short side that he just came from. Good save nonetheless, though, by Waugh.
Morris the penalty. Hooking is the call. 19:45. as Minnesota will have their third power play, and it will likely carry over into period number 2.
That was an excellent play by Brunette to get the puck, settle it down, and then get it to his forehand.
Brunette stays out there. Good face-off win by Minnesota. 9 seconds left in the period. Here's Gabrick. Tough pass for Marshall to handle on his backhand. Here's Ronning now. Let it go through traffic. And that will do it. The horn will sound. This presentation of the NHL on ABC will continue after this message. And a word from our ABC stations. What do you know? Minnesota scores first. They have the 1-0 lead after 1.
First goal of the game, that's a key. And they're really, the Colorado penalty killing, though, has done an outstanding job because Minnesota's going to be on the power play, but they have held them shotless in 5 of the last power plays right here. Let's see if Minnesota can change that up.
One other thing I wanted to point out. Nice looking tie on you today, buddy.
Thanks for lending me your tie. I can't believe I forgot my tie.
Shot from the angle by Brunette is stopped by Patrick Waugh. Power play continues on. Susan's shot through traffic was blocked off the skate of Keane, and a tremendous sliding effort by Joe Sakic to clear the puck.
And then Mike Keane's going off the ice, and he gave Cliff Ronning a subtle little cross check right to the ribs as Ronning was going back on the regroup.
Shot in by Susan. Wrapped around the boards. Reinbrecht on it deep. DeVries there as well. Blake patrolling the front of the net. Doesn't have to worry about it because Shantz has the puck. He's one-on-one with the forward Ronning, and he knows it. Here's Shantz cutting in. Saved by Fernandez. And a pretty smart play to get rid of it quickly. Doesn't want the whistle. Here's Stevenson to break back the other way. 48 seconds left of power play time. Waugh will push it away from Dupuis. Here's Stevenson. Right back to Dupuis. What a check by DeVries. Put him down to the ice. And that allows Keane to come away with a puck. Here's Keane again on Ronning the forward. Ronning able to force both forwards wide of his net. Zoltak will send it back to Zuzin. And the Wild will regroup.
Good penalty killing there by Colorado. Very aggressive. 2 veterans, Mike Keane and Jeff Shantz, doing an excellent job.
Here's Ronning on it. Soft pass just in across the line. Here's Park holding, makes the fake, centers through everybody. Here's Kuba, backhand, dumped it down to the corner. Park blew a tire and went down to the ice. And here's Blake. And it's cleared out to center. Morris is out of the box. Wow, that looked to be a great setup, and Minnesota got nothing off of it. No payoff at all.
You have to wonder about the confidence of Park one-on-one with Patrick Waugh after hitting 2 posts in previous games. There he tried to go wide and buy some time, but he ran out of real estate.
At center, locks it in, spun down by Blake, who's gonna go. And the Wild will go right back to the power play. This is Don Van Massenhoven.
Well, Lauksanen got a little corkscrew there as Rob Blake's trying to hold the line. We'll listen to the call.
For Colorado, 2 minutes, tripping.
You know, Blake's just trying to take away the speed of Lauksanen through the neutral zone right here, and his stick does get corkscrewed right between the legs. And so the player's trying to avoid that. Here's the chances short-handed. As Marian Gaborik was trying to play it to the point, Jeff Shantz was right there. Shantz does an excellent job of challenging the forward, Cliff Ronning. Anytime you see a forward that's there on the point on the power play, challenge him, drive hard to the net because they're not so good defensively.
Here's Brunette. He'll work it back to the point now. Cross for Ronning. Ronning's pass is picked off and cleared. Trying to go across to Zuzin, it was broken up. Blake gets the call for tripping at 2:08. 4th power play of the game for Minnesota, and the 3rd consecutive minor called against Colorado. Puck out of play and into the crowd.
Well, we all know by now Marian Gaborik is one of the great young hockey players in the National Hockey League. He was telling me that he was, while growing up in Slovakia, at 2 a.m. he'd set the alarm to watch the Stanley Cup Finals. In particular, he was talking about 1998, where his idol, Peter Bondra, the great skating Slovakian superstar, you know, was a guy that he just emulated so much. He'd wake up, he'd watch those games, you know. At 2 a.m., you think about the commitment of setting that alarm clock, getting yourself out of bed just to watch hockey. And that's what makes these athletes so great, is the passion that they have for their sport and the will to get better.
Shot around the boards. And
Gaborik is right there. He's checked by Battaglia. Here's Sekerash, lets it go, and he missed it. Battaglia went down for the block. Kuba on the far side, kept in momentarily, and here's Chance, who's been very effective on the penalty kill. Battaglia back behind the net. He's checked there by Philippe Kuba. 50 seconds left on the latest penalty to Blake. Out at center. Here's Gaborik and across the line. Keane and Morris on him. Stevenson will go to the glass to try to get it. He's there with his other 28. Reinprecht to Colorado. Morris the chop on Gaborik. And Zoltak has. Goes back to the point for Kuba. He finds Sekerash. Pass to the middle. How about that pass play? Oh, kicked out of the slot. Shot. Score! Philippe Kuba with a blast on a wild passing sequence that results in a power play goal, and Minnesota leads 2-0.
Oh, man. Kuba made no mistake at all. And it looked like they were going to score prior to it on this perfect play by Gaborik to Zoltak, but this puck doesn't go in. And Skula fires it with his foot right back out to Kuba in the high slot. It's rolling, but in the high top corner, Patrick's got no chance whatsoever. From our Southwest Airlines goal cam, the first one made the play because it forced Patrick Waugh to sprawl over to his left. That was a perfect redirection by the Trenton-born Slovakian Gaborik to get it right over to Zoltak.
Here's Hayduk, quick shot from Tanguay, missed the mark. And the Wild are playing not only with a lead, but with a 2-0 lead now. 4 minutes into the second period. And so the penalty really hurts Colorado.
Oh, and Skula had it though too. I know he didn't have control with his stick. He had it with his foot, but he pounced it right out to the middle of the ice, and that's exactly where Kuba was.
Philippe Kuba scored the first ever Wild playoff goal here in Game 1. He's got his second of the series. As Forsberg looked to go backdoor to Tanguay. Gaborik and Stevenson get assists at 3:45. A power play goal to make it 2-0. We're 5-on-5. They're collapsing down by the Minnesota net. And here's Forsberg. I still can't get over that tic-tac-toe passing play down low in front of Patrick Waugh. That was like Forsberg, Tanguay, and Hayduk. Not anybody the Wild can put on the ice as they try to feather it across to Dupuis, but play is called back behind the play.
It's going to be a roughing call inside the Minnesota zone. The youngster Nick Schultz is going to go off, and he has been quietly spectacular on the blue line. Him and Peter have a little battle here. Let's see where the end result is. Oh, Peter. Oh, you can't do that. You know, you don't mind guys battling, but it was just a little shove, and jerking the head back like that is a clear indication that you're trying to grab the attention. And I realize it's frustrating for Peter because legitimate plays don't always get called, but for the integrity of the game, you can't do that.
It works this time. And if the Avalanche are able to score on the power play, that'll be considered a good play. Schultz for roughing at 4:56, third power play of the afternoon for the Avs, who look to get on the board, trailing by a pair. Here's Reinprecht now. He'll hold. Leaves for second. Back to the point. Morris ripped one and missed it. And the rebound caromed out to the Avs. Here's Blake. Dumps it down deeper for Reinprecht. Battaglia is in front of the net. Here's Blake. Pushes it across. Sackett couldn't tee it up. Reinprecht rolled off his stick, and that allows Hendrickson in Minnesota to clear.
And again, the big body of Bates Battaglia in front of the net, and again, a Wild goaltender losing his stick. Fernandez dropped that right in the slot as well.
Skula trying to force it ahead. Mitchell will get there at the same time as Tanguay, rather Battaglia. And it's cleared down the length of the ice. Foote look to set things up. 45 left on the penalty. Here's Hayduk. Tanguay in the high slot area now. Ripped out of that. Skula was in deep as well. There's Tanguay, able to pin it to the boards. Gets a return feed. Trying to go backdoor for Hayduk. And he couldn't get the stick on the pass.
Yeah, I think Sekerash did a nice job of deflecting that puck out of harm's way.
Forsberg and Mitchell battle. Forsberg gets a return feed. All alone in front, shot tipped. Tremendous deflection in front of the Minnesota net to tip it away. now. Loose puck taken away by Minnesota, and they're able to clear.
Good pressure.
5 seconds still left on the penalty.
Good pressure. And Willie Mitchell on the bench of Minnesota is absolutely irate over there. I'm not sure exactly what it's about. This is the last attempt by Forsberg. It was sort of a half shot, half pass. Forsberg makes a good play here to Tanguay. Backhand pass nullified by the stick work of Sekera, and that was going right over to Hayduk. And then after that, Wes Walsh also got his stick on another play as the Avalanche are doing an excellent job of moving it east to west, so left to right to your goaltender, make it difficult, but credit Minnesota for their stick work.
Here's Mars moving in, saved by Fernandez, kicks to the corner. Power play is over, Schultz is out, back to 5 aside. Minnesota looking for an offensive rush now. Hendrickson forced it deeper. And the Avs take over. Out at center, off of Heinold, and into the zone. Susan got there. They wave off the icing. Sakic just lost an edge, and he went down with Park on top. Here's Blake, hammers it wide, and he hit it so hard, the rebound caroms all the way down the ice.
Steve, I think Susan got his stick on that one there, but the linesman was screened, and that can happen, just like a goaltender with traffic in front. You don't think he clearly saw that Susan got the tip of his blade on that.
We'll see for Shantz. Fernandez out for a stroll, had his pocket picked her. Albany will lift his stick, but still Minnesota able to get to it. And here's a one-on-one at center ice, and a long shot by Matt Johnson back in the lineup. Foot just moved out of the way, let him fire away at Waugh. Back behind the net, here's Dupuis. He's pushed down by DeVries. Dupuis still on it after there was Zoltak and Johnson. Nice pass by Johnson. Dupuis couldn't handle, or the Zoltak couldn't handle, as he pushes it in deeper. Now Colorado gets to it, just like that, they're out of the zone. Here's Shantz, look, crisscross with Wilson. Shantz, to make the move, cuts in towards the net. And Fernandez will glove it and hang on. This was not in the script. The Avs trailing 2-0. Instinct over the years. You see, they still usually go on to win the series, but when they can win it in 5, why win it in 7? They go back to that 98 series, had a 3-1 lead, and wound up losing to Edmonton. The Oilers won the final 3 games, 2 of them right here in Denver, and the last 2 via the shutout. The Avalanche have played 495 games in the last 4 seasons. That's postseasons, including this one. You want to round it up, make it 500. That's 125 games a season. Here's Forsberg, lets it go, and Fernandez way out to make the save. The point is, they played a lot of hockey, maybe more than necessary over the years. They wanted to end this series and move on and rest up like some of the other teams might be able to rest, like your Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, for example. Sakic wrister, stick save Fernandez. Loose puck in front, and Minnesota able to get to it. And across the line, Zoltak fires. Tricky little shot there. Yeah. And Waugh had to be ready. It's by Sekerash and out to center.
Yeah. Put pucks on net. Always put pucks on net and drive hard to the net. That was a classic even man situation with a good shot.
Roxonen rolled one in on goal, and Waugh stick to the side, and Battaglia clears. Is that mind-boggling to you? 495 games in 4 years? That's regular season and postseason included?
That's called championship hockey, always in the hunt.
I think that should be 5 seasons, I should say. Yeah. So if you round it up, about 100 games per season, the 82 in the regular season, and the rest in the playoffs. And they're just starting a playoff run here. Sent softly into the Colorado end. Here's Marchman on it now. You think about taking its toll on the players who play those key minutes, like an Adam Foote, who's been there for all these playoffs. Sakic and Forsberg. The 3 holdovers really since the Quebec days. Here's Stevenson. Popped up at center. Wilson let it go. The save Fernandez. And he'll hang on. The Wild, the 2-0 lead halfway through. You're watching the NHL on ABC Sports Championship Television.
Pass from Hayduk. Wise play to shoot the puck, trying to go high to the glove side on the far side. Right after that, Hayduk, another drop pass to Sakic. Quick little snapshot low, and Manny Fernandez out challenging on top of his crease and giving the shooter no angle whatsoever. Terrific goaltending by Fernandez and outstanding puck movement by the Avs.
Bad turnover, the Minnesota end. Forsberg trying to make the creative pass to Hayduk, and it didn't pan out. And Hayduk, though, good back check to get the puck back at center ice. The Avs will regroup. Past the midway point of this game, the Stanley Cup playoffs on ABC, presented by Nextel. Minnesota trying to force a 6th game in the series. Hayduk looking for Forsberg. Can't get his stick on. Blake at the point, able to keep in, but put it right on the stick of the Wild. Philippe Kuba. Here's Gaborik and across the line. Gaborik, nifty move, but couldn't make a second move.
Yikes. That old one-on-one hockey, 5 feet inside the blue line's a tough play. When everyone else is going north towards the Avalanche zone, you can't turn it over there.
Let's send it back to turn it over, if you will, to John and Barry, guys.
Well, if you'd like to have 2 guys in a 2-1 in the Toronto Maple Leafs, these are the 2 guys, Matt Sundin and Alexander Mogilny.
And they executed properly. Great little saucer right there to Mogilny. That's the second post they've had dead on, John. Maybe it's a sign of things to come.
Yeah, check Monarch, his best friend today. 2-1, Flyers still on top.
All right, John, Barry, thanks. Keeping us posted on the other Stanley Cup playoff action. Too far for a high note. Mitchell stepped up, lost his stick as he played the man. Play continues on in the Minnesota end now. Wild get to it, and they're able to clear out the center. Here's Dowd. Has Dupuis with him. That's Matt Johnson with him. A shot from the angle. Stopped by Watt. He's stopped the second shot as well from Dowd. Quick shot Dupuis, and it pops over the net. Should there be a Game 6 back in St. Paul, we will bring it to you on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern Time on Monday night. Set softly into the Colorado end. Skula will go back for it, out with Marchand.
This is classic positioning by the Minnesota Wild now on a controlled breakout by Colorado. It's tough to penetrate this type of system, and that's what Colorado's going to have to do now. D to D, good breakouts, try to get the puck going through the neutral zone with speed, but I'm telling you, it is very difficult to do that when you've got a disciplined team like Minnesota and they have the lead.
Wow, we'll leave it there for Marchman. The Avalanche starting to hear it from some of the faithful here.
They don't understand how difficult it is.
That's center. Hall's in, they're onside. Kuba trying to step up on Riku Hall. Towards the front of the net, tipped, and Fernandez was there with the stick. Blake is bodied, or sort of bodied, rather gingerly, by Gaborik. And Park will put it off the boards and out. Race for the puck. Wild have to go out and play it away from Gaborik. Here's Battaglia. He'll reverse it, send it deeper into his own end, and he'll chase it himself. Park the forecheck on him. Marchman knocks it away. Zuzin is pinching in deep on Hayduk. 7 minutes left here in the second. And the Avs in an uncomfortable position, trailing 2-0 to this team that is outstanding, if not the best, at protecting the lead in hockey. Great steal from behind on Tanguay.
Yeah, we're forgetting about that Wes Wallace and Peter Forsberg matchup, but Wallace has had a good start to this game again.
Tanguay's offside ahead of the play, and it's not even close. The NHL playoffs are well underway. Tomorrow, Shaq, Kobe, and the Lakers begin their quest for a 4th straight NBA championship. They'll take on Kevin Garnett and Minnesota's other winter professional team that plays indoor besides the Vikings. That'd be the Minnesota Timberwolves. Game 1 begins tomorrow, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, on ABC Sports, home of the NBA Finals.
Well, Wes Wallace making a solid name for himself as a solid defensive player, but he has offensive instincts as well. That reminds me of Pierre Turgeon right there. He's one of the great pickpocketers in the NHL. Sneak up from behind, lift the stick, and grab the puck and go. Terrific play.
Loose puck, foot comes over. Nice sliding block there by Johnson to knock it away. That's center ice. It's flipped in. Fernandez thought about it. He's out for it. Forechecked by Heino. Here's Dowd behind the net. Bodied by Hall. Sakic trying to keep the pressure on, and it's cleared out. No icing. It's touched, so Waugh will swing it around. Dupuis got the quick shot away, and Waugh got back just in time.
Oh, you remember what happened in Game 1 here, where it looked like the goal didn't mean much to make it 3-1 when Patrick was roaming.
Joel Talk deflected and into the netting. 2-0 Minnesota, 5:51 left. We'll step out. Surprise continues on. The Pepsi Center in Denver.
Custom crate for Stanley Cup.
More urgency around the net on that guy right there, who made 17 on 18 shots in Game 4, and his first playoff game since a brief appearance backing up Eddie Belfour with the Dallas Stars. But Manny Fernandez has been outstanding in this hockey game.
Off the draw, Gaborik on the backhand. Hendrickson got a heavy wrister, and Waugh made the save and put it into the netting. What people forget about Manny Fernandez, if you haven't seen much of the Wild, he is not their backup goaltender, Fernandez. They have 2 number 1s, and Fernandez just now getting his chance.
Yeah, and both guys are ready when called upon. Manny kind of let something slip there the other day. Whether it was a slip or not, he talked about how tough mentally Rolison is compared to him. And so that's an area that I know that he wants to improve on, is that mental toughness and that battling day in and day out. And I think that's interesting to note that. And also, Manny Fernandez also basically said, I didn't expect to play in this series. I mean, if we were playing Dallas, I knew that I was going to be the guy to play the Dallas Stars. But the way that Roley is played down the stretch and all year long, same way with Manny, but Manny thought Roley would be perfect for playing against the Colorado Avalanche. And Roley's responsible for this, you know, coming back to this building for a Game 5 for the way that he played in Game number 1. And, you know, they have a strong chance of going back for Game 6. Imagine the reaction in Minnesota going back.
It was pretty nutty there for Games 3 and 4. We really enjoyed our stay in the St. Paul area. The fans were outstanding. I have not been in another NHL city in recent memory in which I saw more team paraphernalia than we saw in St. Paul. Everybody in the state of Minnesota, the state of hockey, has some kind of wild equipment, a hat, a t-shirt, a sweater on. It's really amazing how they support that team.
Game 6 in Minnesota, if it happens, is already sold out. And nice to hear that on ESPN2, they got a nice rating on our exclusive game there. So, no, it is great. It's been a wonderful story, and it's going to get better and better as the years go on, I'm sure.
We will bring you that Game 6 if necessary. We look forward to having it for you on ESPN on Monday night, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 local time in Minnesota. Foote will go back and chase on with Rob Blake. 5 minutes left here in the second. The Wild prided themselves in the fact they had lost 3 games in a row all season. Not allowed to let that happen now. Loxton had his stick lifted by Blake in the last second, and then Blake followed through with a heavy hit on Dowd behind the Colorado net.
Right away, the big body of Rob Blake. He looked around, and this was so inadvertent, and unfortunately, Dowd's not hurt.
Number 4 for Colorado, 2 for Boarding.
And this is one of those classic, you know, it's that collision. You got a big guy going in with momentum, and it looked to me like it might have been a quick turn here. No, Dowd was actually stopped. It wasn't a turn. He was stopped right here on the backhand. He stopped, and Rob Blake just, I don't know, just for one split second, you put your body into somebody like that, and you could tell the reaction of Rob Blake right away. He looked at the referee, and even McCreary, giving the veteran plenty of leeway, he looked at him and shrugged his shoulder. That's a boarding penalty,
right,
and it's got to be called, and it was.
Blake the board, 15-16, 5th power play of the game for Minnesota. One of their 2 goals is a power play goal, as Zoltak let that one fly. Brunette back behind the net, has some problems with Morris, but he is able to get it away. Back to the point now. Marshall able to keep in. Brunette can't handle. Zuzin gets to it on the far side. And it's cleared out by the Avs.
Interesting that Jacques Lemaire has started off this first power play unit with Marshall on the point. Now, I know he does get some power play time, but generally that's a spot left for Cliff Ronning on that point. Zoltak's been their main guy with the 3 helpers, and Gaborik's got 2 goals on the power play.
Centering feed all alone in front. And Zoltak ripped the shot from close quarters, and Waugh was there. Here's Brunette, who sets up behind the net quite often on the power play. Here's Dupuis, whacked at by DeVries. Good rotation by the Colorado defenseman. Yeah. Make sure Minnesota has no room at all. That shot stick aside by Waugh. Here's Zoltak on it now. Inside the circle. Dupuis with Brunette in the slot. Try to feather it through. Get a second chance at it. Back to the point for Zuzin. He'll shoot it back behind the net. Brunette slowed that one down. Off his skate, though, shot. Missed it through the crease. Missed it on the far side by Dupuis. Rolls around the far boards. And Riku Hall's able to clear.
I'm sure that Greg DeVries and Adam Foote are both just chomping at the bit to get a line change here. DeVries looks like he's laboring. Look like he's slow moving around here.
Here's DeVries now. He'll clear it down the ice. Fernandez out. And it's flipped back behind the net. 13 seconds left on the penalty to Rob Blake. 2 shots so far in this man advantage. Here's Gabrick. Got a pair of power play goals in the series. Stevenson bumps Reinprecht. Marchman comes over, able to take it away and clear, and Blake's out of the box.
Zoltak's going to be shaking his head, boy. He had that right on the doorstep with good play down low, and Patrick made a good save.
They're onside. Stevenson, the backhand pass in front of the net. Gabrick was spilled down. Here's a chance. Shot is stopped. Oh! Got the shot away, and Waugh was there. Back to our ABC studios and John and Barry.
Philadelphia clearly has been a more dominant team since the second half of the first period. Talk about crashing the net, Barry.
Watch Primo come through the line of vision here. Gagne goes to net. Look at the 2 Toronto Maple Leafs protect the post, but nobody takes Gagne wide open net.
And now a 3-1 lead with about 5 left in the second period.
John and Barry will be back with the Dodge Intermission Report. Coming up, highlights of the Leafs and the Flyers, and a story on a military high note. More specifically, that man, Dan Highnote, who is fortunate doesn't have to play any road games in this series. It's all coming up on the Dodge Intermission Report. Highnote, who grew up in Minnesota, playing professionally here in Denver.
And I know he thinks every day about his father that passed away 4 years ago. Charlie Highnote would be very proud, obviously, and he's watching, as Danny says, he's watching every game I play. He's got a great seat.
Here's a chance now. The Avs to set things up. Park put it into the pile. Mitchell is checked by Highnote. Highnote had a goal and an assist in the 2 games in Minnesota. Locks it on it here. Crowd wanted a call against Minnesota. Won't get one. Locks it in is hit by Highnote, who always finishes his checks. Set to the corner. Wow will go out and get it. Got some help by Morris to slow down his man. And it's pushed out of center. Here's Tengen. And it's whistled down offside of the Minnesota blue line.
Good shift right there, boy. Willie Mitchell doing a good job down low, and this is where the fans were really looking for a call, and they had a legitimate beef with the big Willie Mitchell. First he misses the hit on Riku Hall. Now the puck's loose. Now he's battling. Good hit by Highnote. That's a good play. Now watch how this stick comes up here. This is where they wanted the call right there, because he's got the shaft of his stick there and takes down Hall. Can't blame them for wanting that one, huh? The little interference, a little hold, because the puck wasn't at that point anywhere near Riku Hall. Now Willie got away with one.
Foot, nice pass. Sakic's in, and it was deflected, I think, off of Kuba as Sakic tried to make the pretty pass. I thought he was going to unload that bullet wrister.
Oh, boy.
Which he scored a couple of goals in game number 4. Turned over. Dupuis let it fly. He scores! Pasquale Dupuis and the Minnesota Wild have taken a 3-0 lead.
Pascal Dupuis had 11 shots entering this game this afternoon. The left-hand shot that plays the right side doesn't miss on the far side. He has got a howitzer of a shot. And for once, they get rewarded with an outside shot. And this comes right on the heels. That's a hard shot right off the post. What a good shot by Pascal Dupuis. And he got everything on it. Oh, boy, what a shot. Comes right on the heels, though, of Joe Sakic just failing to make up his mind in the offensive zone. Do I shoot or do I pass? And they get nothing because of it. Puck turns around the other way, and Dupuis makes them pay.
For Pasquale Dupuis, it's his first career Stanley Cup playoff goal. And it silences this crowd as we're under a minute to play in the second. An unassisted goal off the turnover at 18:42. Say it with me, folks. The Wild lead the Avalanche 3-0. Icing is called, and our Michelin storyline, what else could it be? The Minnesota Wild are now thinking about a Game 6 on home ice.
And our Michelin storyline replays are all 3 goals by the Wild. begin this hockey game. The long shot there by Willie Mitchell. Then Skula kicks it back out to Kuba. Two defensemen score for the Minnesota Wild, and they haven't been that active offensively. And then, of course, we just saw that Pascal Dupuis, a hard-shooting winger, blowing it by the stick side of Patrick Waugh. When you're going to win games, you need offense from everybody. And how about getting it from those guys? Kuba, pretty good offensive year still from Kuba, but Willie Mitchell, oh boy.
Minnesota was the only team in the NHL that did not lose when leading after the first or second period. That does not take into account when they've had 3-goal lead going into the third. Wow. Minnesota leading Colorado 3-0 in Game 5. Here's Blake. Shot blocked off the glass. Blake will glove it in again. Park will get to it. High off the glass and out.
That's a good play by Park. You don't want an icing, but you've got to get it out of your zone.
Forsberg had his shot or dump in blocked. Off of Blake's skate to Haydu. Here's Sakic now. Wild get to it. And they'll make a play out at center for Wes Walls. Has Stevenson with him. 2-on-2. He's got Park. Stevenson will let it go. Pad saved by Waugh. Sakic on the rebound. And that will do it. It's a stunned sellout crowd booing the Avalanche off the ice after 2 periods of play. We'll be back with a Dodge Intermission Report after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Might not want to count the Wild out yet.
There's sustained motion, and 2 of their horses on the blue line, DeVries and Foot, surprisingly, -2 at even strength.
And if you say Colorado took Minnesota lightly in the first game and maybe thought this series was over, you'd never get anyone on the Avalanche to admit that. But again, that would be taking away from how well Minnesota has played today in every facet of the game. As Mitchell is hammered into the end boards as we open up period number 3. And plans are already being made, I'm sure, back in St. Paul. Welcome these 2 clubs back to town. Game 6, Monday night, would be on ESPN.
Well, we've talked about series leads that have been squandered by the Avalanche, and they were all talking about what happened, obviously, last year. Game 5 when Modry scored, and then Palfi here, a rebound attempt, and it ends up that Allison scores. And so it goes back for a Game 7, a game in which they didn't want, and they're 10-13 in games they can eliminate the opponent since Mark Crawford was their coach in 1998, and only 7-6 on home ice. So that's happened through Mark Crawford and Bob Hartley, and this is only a Game 5 situation, but again, you stress urgency and not wanting to go back to Minnesota, get on that plane, battle it out, and go up against a tough crowd, and a team that's not going away.
This will be a confident Minnesota team. They get out of here with a victory to keep the series alive. Rolls in on Fernandez. Got the quick whistle. He tried to keep it moving, to keep that clock moving.
Well, Manny Fernandez, the change that head coach Jacques Lemaire, who, by the way, Manny Fernandez is his nephew, he has been strong in this game. And trying to battle 44, that's a focal point in itself. How many times have you seen Bates Battaglia knocking the stick out of the hands of the goaltender, the Minnesota Wild? But Manny Fernandez has been absolutely outstanding in his position, his quickness, his alertness. This is what he's done all year long.
Battaglia over skates. Kuba took it away momentarily, but Battaglia regained. Here's Joe Sakic on it. Into the corner. Hayduk out there. Loose puck picked off by Minnesota. It's Richard Park with Hendrickson. Got some help with Gaborik, except they'll go for a change. Waz way out. DeVries will get on.
Yeah, we're going to keep our eye on Greg DeVries. He just looked like, and a lot of these players play in pain, an injury. Obviously, no one knows about it to the very end. But I'm going to keep my eye on Greg DeVries. He looked like he was grimacing a few times there in that second period.
Speaking of pain, Tanguay went hard into the boards, then tried to make the pass out with it from his knees. Here's Reinprecht on it now. Checked by Zuzin. DeVries will keep it in. At least momentarily. Zuzin will shoot it around on the far side. Tanguay will get there first away from Lotson. Good play to get it to Marchman to keep it towards the front of the net. Good back check by Wall. Reinprecht, turnaround shot, he scores! Steven Reinprecht sliding on the ice. And the Avalanche are on the board. It's a 3-1 game.
Good Change up by the coaching staff of the Avalanche. Peter Forsberg on the ice with Reinprecht and Tanguay. Forsberg battles it out to get the shot. Tanguay's in front of the net, and Manny Fernandez has no chance because he can't see it. That's very basic hockey there. Stay on your feet, put pucks on net, and good hockey sense by Steven Reinprecht, who had an outstanding regular season, and he's got his 10th career playoff goal.
And it's a 3-1 hockey game. And we'll watch for the inexperienced Wild to see if they tighten up just a little bit now. Icing will be the call. Going to be brought back down into the Colorado end. Serge Aubin is attended to on that Colorado bench.
Actually, correct that. It's Brian Wilsey, the big number 50. And I tell you, Tony Granato wasn't very happy. That stick obviously got up high. They were looking at the neck area of Brian Wilsey, and the stick of Johnson comes up high, and I don't blame the Avalanche bench for that. I mean, that's flagrant the way his stick came up like that.
Off the draw, Dowd gets it back to Sekerash. Sent back behind the Colorado net. Heavy duty hit there. Put Hall down. And Kuba is back for it. And the crowd for the first time, something to cheer about. And the cheers and chants of let's go Avs. Marchand able to get it through. Here's Heido's shot. Nearly snuck it between the legs of Fernandez. Ryan Marchment, a nice pass to get it through. Here's Heido now. Sekerash on him. Reinprecht is right back on the ice. And it's cleared all the way out to center. And Battaglia is the first man back for it.
That's utter desperation and urgency by the coaching staff of Colorado. Mixing and matching these lines, get different combinations, spur something on. Now we got Hayduk on the right side with Battaglia and Sakic.
Stick comes flying into the screen. It must be the stick of Andrew Brunette, who's now without one. Back behind the net. Mitchell, good play to cut it off. Zuzan put it right into Battaglia. And it's cleared out the center, and DeVries will go back for it.
One of those areas where the Minnesota Wild have to determine passive, conservative. They can't be on their heels and allow Colorado to take the play with 16 minutes left.
Penalty coming up. Colorado on the board, and now they're going to go to the power play. As sticks and gloves get up on the far side.
Adam Foote and Stevenson, they've had a couple of battles in this hockey game. Looks like no calls will be made over on that far side. Boy, Stevenson's a feisty guy. He keeps going right at Adam Foote, and Adam Foote's not going to back away from anybody. See a little momentum changing here in this hockey game.
And a power play goal right here would change it even more.
Yep. Interference call there. Andrew Brunette's going off, and it was Adam Foote that swung his stick. Just kind of laid it out there, and Brunette's stick went flying, as you had mentioned, on the air, and then Brunette gets called. It looked to me like, oh boy, there's first a slash there, and then a hook in the midsection that certainly Battaglia helped that one out as he went down rather easily, but I thought the call was originally on the slash with the two hands across the hand.
The Avs come out. Here's Blake. Pivotal point in the hockey game. Forsberg trying to make the nifty move around Kuba. Kuba tried to center, put it off a shin pad, and it's kept in by the Avs. Here's Forsberg now. Far side, locks it and got a swing at it and able to clear. Brunette the hook at 3:48. Colorado's fourth power play of the game. They've just given the official scoring on the goal. Steven Reinprecht, who it seems only scores in the playoffs against the Kings, has his first playoff goal of this series from Forsberg and Tanguay at 2:01, an even strength goal. Now on the power play. Here's Forsberg. Tanguay to the front of the net. Here's Sakic at the point. Foot's in front of the net. Blake lets it go. And Fernandez got the glove on it. Cross ice all the way through. Somehow that got through. And Blake played it off his skate. Nearly put in off the backside of Philippe Kuba. Sekerash, rather.
Well, that's something the goaltender doesn't want to see, is a one-timer from the right-handed Rob Blake. right there at the top of the circle. So Fernandez did an excellent job of coming out and getting those feet down low. Both Fernandez and Rolison are very good at pushing out and getting their feet down low, taking away that area.
Oh, nice move by Hayduk around Walls. Hayduk's in now, and he goes for the drop pass, and it's picked off by Minnesota. Lodson has Walls ahead of the play, and there's a smart veteran move. He's out of gas, will get a change, and they'll kill some more clock. 12 seconds left on the penalty to Brunette. Foot tried to shoot it in, broken up by Parker, who's trying to break, and what a play by Hayduk to dive ahead, or else Park would have been in all alone. Our play is over. The biggest kill so far in this series for Minnesota. Schultz is back for it. He fanned on his wraparound attempt. Back behind the net, never made it to offhand. And it's off the boards. And all the way down. Marchment's back for the touch. Icing is called. 13:45 left in the third. The complexion of this one has changed thanks to the goal by Steven Reinprecht.
Hi.
Hey guys.
So,
My girlfriend bought this furniture. Except there's no instructions.
who needs instructions? Not bad, huh?
Another Labatt Blue?
Beer me. Nice.
Look up, see blue. Labatt Blue.
Hey honey, look!
That's great. But where's the bookcase that I bought?
What?
The Wild have won the first game of the series, then lost the next three, coming into this game 5, and they're banking on the fact they didn't lose 4 in a row all season. They're playing with much more confidence throughout the afternoon. A 3-goal lead will do that for you. Now it's 3-1. 6.5 in. Third period regulation time. Rolls up on the far side. It's picked off there by Darby Hendrickson. A scratch in game 4. He's back in the Minnesota lineup here in game 5. Foot will go to it. He's there with Gabrick. Gabrick does a good job tying him up. And Minnesota will just keep it in deep. Here's Park. Shot blocked. Blocked by DeVries. And we get the whistle.
Yeah, you have to wonder, so many secrets are around there, but great degrees, and really, collectively, the Avs D are turning the puck over. Here's what happened in the second period. We watched his face. Didn't it look like he was wincing there when he made that ill-advised play that resulted in that turnover goal by Pascal Dupuis? But then in this period, too, he went to go on the backhander, and this guy's a gritty character. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he's playing with something that's bothering him. But I've been watching and wincing, and clearly they haven't been their sharpest. And at the same time, you credit Minnesota for having that jump, getting the puck down low, in deep, making it harder for the Avs D.
Good check. Crowd roars. Marshall is down for Minnesota. And getting up slowly as Van Massenhoven goes over to check on him. Big hit in the corner. 13 minutes even left to play here in the third. Marshall will get attended to. Let's take another look at it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Marshall wears a mouth guard, which is surprising. A lot of the players now, because of the concussions, and that really helps out.
Whoa. Face first into the glass.
The problem I have with both sides of this, one of them is the forechecker, Battaglia, doesn't go in on an angle. He's going straight on. The second part I have a problem with is Marshall knows someone's on him.
He's coming, sure.
And he also has to go on an angle when you follow through with the puck. It's pretty easy to veer yourself off towards the play. But when you stop and put on the brakes and are facing the boards, so really both guys are really at fault in terms of just common sense in that type of play.
Face-off, everyone becomes critical now. Good face-off win by Colorado with good help from Battaglia. Wild get to it, and they're able to clear. This is a 2-on-1 developing now. Ronning streaking down the wing, didn't get it across. As Walls got the shot away himself, using Ronning as a decoy. Battaglia tried to stay onside, but could not. She was a rape victim, and now she's a witness, facing a defense attorney from her own firm. In order to save his client, will he destroy his firm?
It's an all-new practice Monday at 9, 8 Central, right here on ABC.
Michael Bottalucco and Stephen Harris, the Chicago native, huge hockey fans. I'm sure they're tuning into this one this afternoon.
I think Bottalucco got the MVP award at a charity game in New York at Madison Square Garden.
Certainly did, scoring 2 big goals. First time ever on the ice.
On the far side, here's Sakic trying to make the move and couldn't get it in. So he gets some help. Shot around the boards. Here's Gaborik slowing things down in the Minnesota end. Here's Sakic for Forsberg. Even strength, Sakic and Forsberg on the ice at the same time as Minnesota looks to break. Here's Gaborik, cuts in, he's spun around. Wow, the save, and Foot's going to get called. It's going to be a hooking penalty. And Foot doesn't like the call, as you might expect. And Gaborik's down in the corner.
Well, Gaborik used his strength, and that's his wheels.
2 minutes for hooking.
He mentioned before that Peter Bondra was his idol growing up, and they have very similar strides, very powerful strides. Gaborik's a left-hand shot, and so he tries to cut into the middle and protect the puck with his body. Right here, he knows Foot's on him, so he protects it, and Foot's stick got on the inside of Gaborik up high like that, and kind of turned him around right there. That's an excellent play by Adam Foote. I mean, if there's a time to take a penalty, that is exactly the time, and he nearly got away with it. It was nearly that perfect.
That's the best offensive player on Minnesota, the guy to do it. Saved by Waugh, rebound saved by Waugh.
That puck was underneath him. Patrick gave it a subtle little look over his shoulder. Oh, man. I thought that might have snuck underneath there. From our Southwest Airlines goal cam. Here's the shot. It's between the legs. It's just trickling. He looks over his left shoulder. Not sure exactly where that puck is.
The Foot penalty came at 7:58. This is Minnesota's 6th power play of the game. They are 1 for 5 as that puck goes out of play. This is Patrick Waugh's 16th career game against the Wild. He's never allowed Minnesota more than 3 goals. And you see when he can eliminate the opposition, the 2.16, 8 games over 500.
And it's amazing that when he first began as a prospect with the Montreal Canadiens, they made him watch a tape of the late, great Pelle Lindbergh and the way that he stood up. They were not convinced, believe it or not, that Patrick Waugh could be an NHL goaltender based on the fact he flopped around so much to the point where John Perron, the coach, at one point asked him if he wants a pillow and a mattress to lay on. I think Patrick Waugh has proven everybody wrong there to begin his career. My goodness.
Pillow and a mattress. That's hard. Shot. Saved by Waugh. Rebound to Colorado. And Kino backhanded down the ice.
But that adds to his battle and his competitiveness. And yes, he was a lot more of a flounderer back then, and he's perfected his style. But at least he has the combination of percentages and battle. And I think that's, besides mentally and the heart that he has, what's made him such a great goaltender.
Back behind the net. Currently occupied by Waugh. Brunette able to dump it off for Gaborik. Goes back to the point for Zuzin. Just barely kept that in. Here's Gaborik. Cross for Zuzin as they rotate. Reinprecht on him. Hit the referee. Never came across Brunette. And Gaborik pounded it out of midair, but missed it wide. 30 seconds left on the Foot penalty. Here's Chance 1-on-3. He got the shot away and a good one, and Fernandez had to be ready.
Chance in a limited role has had a very, very good hockey game.
6 power plays by Minnesota. One of the big Colorado penalty killers. And Aubin able to backhand it out to center. 10 seconds left on the penalty by Foot. Coming up on the midway point of the 3rd period, regulation time. The Wild trying to force a Game 6 back on home ice in St. Paul Monday night, 7:30 Eastern. We'll have it for you on ESPN. We'll step out. The score still 3-1. Few days off prior to the start of the next round. Colorado could play Edmonton if the Oilers were able to come from behind and win that series, or they could play the winner of St. Louis and Vancouver. We'll have to see the way it all shakes out in the Wild Western Conference. Hendrickson overskated, trying to make the nifty move. It's off the glass and out of the zone, and Schultz is back for it for Minnesota.
Schultz has great composure, doesn't he, Steve? I mean, talk about the experience. I know Bouchard's not playing in this one, but between Gaborik and Nick Schultz and the experience that these players are gaining and what it takes to compete against a Stanley Cup champion in the past, and the great players that the Avs have. Put that in your hip pocket, man. That's stuff that you don't get in the regular season.
Here's Blake. Turnaround shot. Stopped by Fernandez. Wraparound. Stopped by Fernandez. And Fernandez has dropped his stick, and Forsberg's stick is broken. Fernandez gets his stick back. The shot through traffic. And all sorts of problems with the wood and the lumber on the ice. And a slashing penalty might be the cause of one of those sticks being lost as we send it back to John and Barry.
Philadelphia ready to put this one away against the Maple Leafs. Bunch up in front of the net. Sammy Kapanen by the side just banks it.
Eddie looks a little tired. Doesn't look near as sharp as he had earlier in the season, John.
27 periods will do that to you.
27 periods.
Doesn't look like overtime will be necessary there. Don't count out overtime here with the Avs going on the power play.
For the slash here by Willie Mitchell. And it was after this wonderful save by Manny Fernandez. There's the slash, snaps the stick in half, and a key power play.
Back to the point. Blake could not keep in. Mitchell gets a slashing call at 11:01. Colorado's 5th power play of the game. Tanguay on the forecheck. Can't get to it. Off the glass and out of the zone.
Tell you what, the road penalty killing of the Minnesota Wild in the playoffs has been utterly outstanding.
Tanguay tried to split through the defense of Kuba and Sekerash. Nothing doing. 8.5 left in regulation here in a 3-1 game. The Avs moving ahead to center. One touch to Forsberg. Cuts in. Backhander stopped Fernandez, and he gobbles up the rebound. Oh.
What execution with speed to break out. The entry into the zone by Colorado was exceptional. Quick passing, ends up on the tape. Forsberg has to go to the backhand, but it all starts with their regroup and their breakout. And Forsberg ends up making the play through the middle. Backhand attempt. Fernandez makes the first save and no rebound as well. And we showed you Bates Battaglia on the bench. You got to focus on him when he gets in front of that net too. Boy, he has been in the thorn in the side of the Minnesota Wild in front.
Here's Forsberg from behind the net. Zuzin spins him around and puts him down. And the crowd looking for a 2-man advantage and won't get that call. Wow will slow things down and Foot's back for it. Adam Foote will wind it up. On with Rob Blake. He'll play the points on this power play. Shot to the corner. First on to Sakic. Finds Forsberg, who tried to get the quick little shot away and didn't. Blake outside the line, brought it across. Offside will be the call. The Wild bench is screaming for an intentional offside. And they bring it all the way down the ice, but they won't get that call. Nope. 7:35 left in the third.
No, it's not going to get that call, and I mentioned Bates, so we'll focus on this as this game progresses, because in Game 4, it was Bates in front of the net that took a little slash or a poke from behind by Rolison, but then he knocked the stick of Rolison out of the hands, and it was a goal. Here in this game, again, Battaglia in front of the net, causing havoc in front. So now with 7.5 remaining, watch for him to get even more aggressive in front of that net.
Battaglia has just 1 assist in this series, but as you point out, that does not tell his story. Last year when Carolina had 10 points in the 1 series alone, the Hurricanes against the Canadiens. Long shot from Morris, stick save, Fernandez. Here's Hayduk now, back behind the net. And they look to set things up. Tanguay lets it go. Another Wild player loses his stick. Mitchell's out of the box. Power play is over, unless you count that the Wild are down a man because they're without a stick, and that's Park. What stick handling, what patience. DeVries in, and I'm not sure that made it on goal. Might have hit the back of Tanguay. Here's Sakic now. Nifty pass to DeVries, returns the favor to Sakic now. Good crunch in the corner there by Mitchell. And here's Zoltak. He finds Brunette. Brunette's bump gives it back to Zoltak now. Zoltak makes the move while hugging the post. And Morris ran Brunette right into the goaltender. 6:22 left in regulation. And the Wild lead by 2.
I tell you what, Minnesota's doing an excellent job, as they did in Game 1, getting bodies in the lane, getting sticks in the lane, That's something that the master teacher, Jacques Lemaire, obviously preaches. But DeVries' shot right here, stick. Yes, it hit the shaft of the stick of Kuba. And then it glanced maybe off Tanguay, but it went wide. Again, another stick in the lane. Good block there by Kuba. DeVries did the right thing. A nice little give and go, utilizing Joe Sakic on that one side. Oh, Wes Walser putting some of the, it's two-way tape that they keep on the shaft of a stick that's broken, and that makes your shaft of your stick just a little stickier, so that the longer, you know, the period goes on, your hands get a little slippier. You don't want that that stick sliding out of your hands, so you do that. So you got a little bit of grip right there. You see the scoring chances, as expected in a desperate situation, 8-2 in favor of the Avs.
Hey, that's got to be one of the storylines of the game for Minnesota, win or lose, hanging on to their stick. Well, their sticks have been breaking in half or just coming out of their hands. I want to borrow some pine tar from the Twins. Back behind the net now. Center. Ryan Marchment just lost his edge. He was all alone. That leads to the turnover. Here's Brunette back behind the net. Brunette trying to center in front. Heinold blocked it. And Colorado will come away. Getting late for the Avalanche. Under 6 to go. Regulation time. Still a 3-1 game. You're watching the NHL on ABC Sports Championship Television. It's a 2-goal game getting late. Hernandez the save with the traffic in front by Tanguay.
Well, the Avalanche have been doing a good job on faceoffs. And there, though, Zuzan had it, and the control was there by Minnesota, so that's not a very wise play by Andre Zuzan, who has been terrific for the Wild. And you got to make sure that puck is off the glass and out of your zone.
Coming up on 5.5 left in regulation time. Here's Park one-on-one, short-handed. Working on Blake, let it go. And Waugh moving, and Waugh able to make the blocker save. Now the Av will wind it up. Sakic for Forsberg. Forsberg checked by Zuzan. He goes down to the ice. Mitchell on it, can't get rid of it. Hayduk has it now, finds Tanguay. Sakic's at a point, now he's sneaking in. Here's Forsberg trying to find him back door. Tanguay to the front of the net. They've got double wood like bowling in front of that Minnesota net. Now they separate. Here's Forsberg. Off for Sakic. Blake is in front of the net, and he just had his stick lifted by Laukkonen at the last second.
What a smart play by Laukkonen. Boy, I mean, you got 4 green jerseys, and there's Rob Blake sneaking in from behind, and Joe Sakic looked like he put it right on the tape.
Turned over, and it's just too high for Park to handle. A turnaround shot. Waugh nearly gave it right back to Hendrickson. But it's Sakic the other way. 4.5 left in regulation. 40 seconds left on the power play. 2-on-2 in the corner. Pops free for Park. Sakic belts him down to the ice, but the puck is cleared to center. Morris will shoot it around. Far side, but Taglio will get there first. Finds Wilsey. Reinprecht behind the net. Wilsey has it, though. Back for Blake, looking to load it up. Famed on his first shot and pushing it to the corner. Here's Reinprecht. Battaglia all by himself in front of the net. If the Avs can find him there. Now Kuba covers him. Little pick, side of the net, back door. Reinprecht, the pass he couldn't handle. And Fernandez, once again, is without his stick. Shifty move by Battaglia behind the net. Kuba and Sekerash, the defenseman, trying to hold him off. Shot from the angle is blocked by Sekerash. Right back to him. Fernandez finally gets his stick now. Wild get to it. The power play is over. Kept it at the point. Blake Rister is blocked, and it comes out. Under 3.5 in regulation.
And now you're seeing the team concept and the desperation of the defensive team. Shot blocks, battling.
Uh-oh, turned over by Zoltak. Fernandez looked behind him. Still loose, and finally cleared away. Here are the Wild 2-on-2 as they hit the line. Sent back behind the net. Picked up on the near side by Colorado. Hall can't do much with it. He'll get a second chance. He gloves it down away from Schultz. Here's Auban and across the line. He's spun around by Dupuis. Hall behind the net, wrapped around and out of the zone. Will it go far enough for icing? It will. DeVries back for the touch. 2:42 left in regulation.
Oh, Willie Mitchell with that puck just on end like that. It never lays flat for Zoltok. A key turnover right on the tape to Hall, and what a save there by Manny Fernandez, who had to be sharp because you're thinking at that point that you've got control of the puck. From our Southwest Airlines goal cam, Fernandez is challenged very, very well, coming out on top of his crease, taking away the angle, and because he does so, then there's a lot of room between him and the net if the puck is squeaking through.
Off the face-off win by Colorado. Skula able to dump it off to Hayduk. Centers towards the front of the net. Loose puck. Forsberg tries to move. It's stopped by Fernandez. The puck is still loose. Wild get to it and clear.
You're kidding me. What a move that was.
Just to try that move is in tight quarters is Peter Forsberg. Sakic pokes it by his man. Zuzin plays the body so Forsberg can play the puck. Forsberg on it now. Hendrickson trying to check him as is Kuba. Sakic is double teamed. Wild get to it. Kept it at the point by Marchment. Far side. Blake looking for the deflection in front. Couldn't get it. Loose puck. Gaborik gets to it. He'll whip it down the ice. And the Wild will take that icing. Clock stops with 1:51 left.
Oh, the big horses for the Avs, too. They got to be out of gas. I mean, they're being used exclusively here. Sakic in front of them. This is the move. Oh, what a save by Fernandez with that right pad. Everything in his power to do the splits and get the right pad down low. Tremendous read here and a world-class play there. Oh, boy. Take it to the backhand. Pull it back to the forehand. Think you've got an open net, and I know my little legs wouldn't have been able to get over there like Fernandez. What a save that is.
Patrick Waugh halfway out, waiting for the signal. Down to 1:45 left. Avalanche have possession. Waugh is gone. Extra attacker is on. Reinprecht shot block. 8-shot block by Minnesota. Here's a chance now. Shot stopped before it made it on goal. Sakic in the corner. Finds Reinprecht now. Towards the front. Tanguay partially fanned on it. Off the boards and out to center. Oh, foot's back for it now.
Steve, he made another save with that right pad. That is a spectacular move.
Off of Tanguay's skate to Sakic. Gaborik the other way. Clears the center. 65 seconds from heading back to St. Paul for Game 6. Monday night on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern. Icing will be called to Breeze the touch. Just about 59 seconds left regulation time in what will be billed as a shocker around the NHL.
Well, the tape that Colorado's going to use to get ready for game number 6 in Minnesota, if it stays this way, is their final 7 or 8 minutes. Utter desperation, pucks on net, guys battling to make a play, not worried about calls or non-calls, just working hard. There's that right pad save by Manny Fernandez. Outstanding with Battaglia again in front of the net. Have I been impressed with Manny in this hockey game? I was impressed with him in relief in game 4. Looks like he's going to go in game 6.
Net remains empty. Morris able to get it across to Blake. There's Battaglia towards the front of the net. Fernandez stopped it with his stick, and it's cleared the center. Shots of 12-2 Colorado in the third. Those 8 shot blocks by Minnesota I mentioned, that's in the third period alone. Zuzin on the far side. He's double teamed now. 35 seconds left regulation time. The Wild lead by a pair. Centering feed. Loose puck in front. Avalanche get on a backhand. They score! It's Rob Blake's first goal of the series. And it's a 3-2 hockey game with 27.4 seconds left.
You got to credit Hayduk in front of the net. Danny Heino battling out as well. And with the traffic in front of Manny Fernandez, the Wild can't clear it. That's a heck of a backhander. That's a heck of a play here. Heino behind, little wraparound play, hit the skate of Park. Right on the tape here to Rob Blake pinching in. No chance for the goaltender. He can't see that one bit. There's 10 guys in front of him, and that puck had eyes from Rob Blake. Timeout being called now. Both teams regroup as Rick Tocchet and Tony Granato with Jacques Cloutier talking about some strategy off the face-off, and the big guns have got to get their wind. They still have a chance to get the puck in deep and make a play. There's time for one good play if they win the face-off. If Minnesota wins the face-off, then they're able to clear it down and force Colorado to go 200 feet and try to tie this game up. What a backhander. And that stick of Darby Hendrickson was there. He had Hayduk. There's another man in front. I thought it might have gone off a stick, but it didn't. It was clearly in the net.
Can you believe some fans have left this building? When it was a 3-1 hockey game, some fans started to head out. Never doubt the Avalanche. Interesting, they'll start the opening faceoff with Waugh on the bench.
There's the guy to watch is Forsberg there. He's the extra forward.
Sakic and Walls will take it.
Right here.
Won by Colorado. Set play and a blink. He'll fire. Shot blocked by Mitchell. Mitchell is spun around and the puck cleared to center. Here's Tanguay. Trying to go to Hayduk. It's Forsberg instead. Sakic lets it go. Glove save. And Fernandez will hang on with 10.4 seconds left.
Oh boy, I thought they squandered the opportunity when Blake's play on the right side got blocked. And Willie Mitchell did an excellent job too, as Tony Granato was trying to tell him to speed up the line change. But then this play here by Forsberg got the line, made the drop pass. Hayduk's there in case there's a rebound. Blake drove to the front of the net as well. No rebound there.
Sakic and Walls will go on this face-off to the immediate right of Manny Fernandez. 10.4 seconds left. Sakic wins a draw. Morris through traffic, missed it on the far side. Sent down the length of the ice and just wide. 2-1. Can't get there in time for the icing call, and this one is over. And the Wild have forced a Game 6 back at home. They have shocked everyone outside of St. Paul and that Minnesota Wild dressing room.
Well, you have to give credit again. Some unsung heroes. Willie Mitchell scoring the first goal of the game. The team that has scored first has won every game in this series. Kubat made it a 2-0 lead, and then they really did hang on. They really hung on. Great goaltending from Fernandez to solidify a 3-2 win.
This will be considered a shocking victory in a series I'm sure many thought would come to an end today, and the Wilds just be happy. Got to win the first game, made the playoffs, and instead they will force a Game 6 Monday night on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern from St. Paul. That town ought to be rocking tonight. The Wild the winner, 3-2 over the Avs. John and Barry coming up on the other side.
The other side of the coin, Colorado is 10-13 the last 5 years when having a chance to eliminate an opponent. And again, the situation against the Wild today, win and they march on. Willie Mitchell comes back to him. Patrick Waugh whiffed.
Well, they lost this game in the first period because they were not ready to play for some reason. Again, I think a little bit of it, they were talking about the Detroit loss and the fact they don't have to play Detroit in the second round. I think they're looking ahead of their opponent, and that's a cardinal sin in hockey.
And then this one, you said everybody's out of position.
Everybody's out of position, including Patrick. He was way over by the dot. He almost made the save coming across. That is not the Avalanche style of hockey.
Kuba gets that goal. Peter Forsberg with a shot. Manny Fernandez comes out with a big save. Fernandez played great today.
Well, the better the team played defensively, they didn't have many breakdowns, but Manny was sure aggressive. He was challenging. He was square to the shooter. Very confident goaltender right now. Again, when Minnesota scores the first goal, John, they're the best team in the NHL.
And then again, Patrick Waugh just did not seem to get himself square on a shot, and yet another goal to make it 3-0.
And a turnover, uncharacteristic turnover in the neutral zone by the Avalanche. Patrick did not back the D up.
Pascal Dupuis came up with it. But then late in the game, suddenly Colorado realized that the game has started, and Blake goes with a backhand and somehow finds his way between 8 players and into the goal, but they could not get another one. 3-2 is the final. The Wild force another game in Game 6, which will be back home. Right now, let's take you out to Steve and Darren in Denver.
Thanks very much. Here in Denver, it has to be considered a shocking victory by the Wild to keep this series alive and bring it back to St. Paul for game number 6. And always a surprise, the starting goaltender from Minnesota. It was Manny Fernandez. He picks up his first ever career victory, and Manny joins us now from just outside that Wild dressing room. When did you find out officially? We know you couldn't tell anybody, but when did you find out, and what was it like experiencing your first playoff win?
Well, I found out 2 days before, right after we finished the game. I talked with my goalie coach, and he told me to be ready. That he thought I was going to be the one starting, and that's what happened. Yesterday they told me I was going to start, but I never lost the focus over those 2 days. And you know, coming in here, there's it's like, I mean, you've played a lot of games in the season, but it's never like a playoff game, and I didn't know too much how to get ready for that one, but I was pretty happy with my start.
Well, you used all the smelling salts. That's how you get ready, Manny.
Just in case I fell asleep out there.
I don't imagine that was going to happen. We're going to put you through some of the brilliant saves that you made, and I know that they're a team with obviously extensive ability when their first 6 forwards especially. We'll roll the saves, and maybe you can just explain some of the action in front of you, Manny.
Well, they're definitely coming at me all night. They didn't have a lot of shots, but you know, when they did, they really tried hard to get it in there. You know, just, anytime that Forsberg, they started playing Forsberg, Sakic, and Duke together, the puck is moving fast, and you better be ready.
Manny, what will you be able to take out of this win as a team and use to your benefit at home that you weren't able to do in games 3 and 4?
I don't know. We definitely wanted to go back home and win one for our fans. And when we left Minnesota, that's exactly what I said. You know, if we have a chance to come back and at least give them a good show and try to win a game, that's all we want. You know, and then we'll focus. You know, if it goes the distance, we'll focus. But right now, we're focusing. The guys are taking it small sections and just focusing on one period, one shift, and one game.
Have you been told you're starting game 6?
No, but I'm imagining that he's going to give me the start. So, yeah, you know, I got nothing to lose, so I like to play like that.
We'll see you in St. Paul on Monday. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Manny Fernandez, his first ever career Stanley Cup playoff